evergreen and semi-evergreen forest at the edge of Western Ghats. Now, obviously, there are indigenous people, but it also has huge diversity of wildlife, like what? Tigers, leopards, gaur. What is this gaur? Any idea? How do we better know gaur as? Have you heard of this? Gaur? Nilgai, okay. What is that nilgai? Sorry, I don't know what it is. Gai is cow. Are you saying it's some kind of a cow, buffalo? Yeah. It is okay. So I'm getting slightly different thing. So gaur is actually the bison, Indian bison. Have you heard of this bison? Indian bison. Yeah, so you find that in good number, and 200 species of birds. 200 species of birds. Now, why has this Save Mollem campaign actually started? Is because of the fact that in April 2020, the Ministry of Environment and Forest, right in the middle of Corona, they had approved 3 infrastructure projects which will cut through the national parks and wildlife sanctuary. Yeah, which will cut through it. So one is a transmission line, another is a railway line, that is double tracking the railway line, and third is 4-laning of a national highway. So all the things were summarily approved in one sitting. Now, what is the issue here? The issue here is the protesters say that these projects, we did not do an environmental impact assessment. So that brings us to another important topic, environmental impact assessment. So, obviously there is some lacune, perhaps, the environmental impact assessment, or the environmental impact assessment was done, perhaps the report was not released to the public, or it was a watered down version of environmental impact assessment. So one of the following things has definitely happened. Okay, so this is at a high level what is Save Mollem campaign all about. But then the Save Mollem campaign brings to focus something very important about Western Ghats itself. Okay, now if you could look at our own earlier classes of environment, under what context have we touched upon Western Ghats before? We have touched it in more than one context, but can someone tell me in what context have we touched upon Western Ghats? Any idea? Think of it as a prelims question. Which biodiversity? Yes, that's exactly. Biodiversity is true. The more precise answer is the biodiversity hotspot. Yeah, biodiversity hotspot. If you remember, India has 4 biodiversity hotspots, of which Western Ghats is one. And Western Ghats is one of the biodiversities of the 36 biodiversity. Sorry, Western Ghats is one of the biodiversity hotspots of the 36 biodiversity hotspots of the entire world. Therefore, when something is already rich in biodiversity, and not just rich in biodiversity, but is a biodiversity hotspot. Now, what is a biodiversity hotspot? Remember, one of the criteria was loss of 70% habitat as compared to its original self, which means already it is on a declining path. Now you can understand the concerns of environmentalists when you have taken 3 environmental projects at one go and you have given them en masse approval, so to say, approval for all the projects at one go. Great. So, so this is what it is. Now, the second question I want to ask you is, have you come across Western Ghats? So this is what I taught, okay, the biodiversity hotspot. Have you ever heard of anything related to Western Ghats and biodiversity in some other context? It's possible that I may not have heard. I'm actually genuinely asking. Means in the last 1-2 years that you have been preparing, have you ever come across anything to do with Western Ghats and biodiversity? You can think long and hard. Excellent, Abhishek. Madhav Godgill report. Various butterflies found. Yes, you keep getting about butterflies and toads and Kasturi Rangan committee. Very good. Madhav Godgill and Kasturi Rangan committee report. Both of them are, they keep getting discussed on and off. Good, guys. I think this was some of the answers that I had expected. In addition to it, it's very